everybody, and welcome back to our channel. And if you're new here, you are so welcome. I'm Jane. My husband Mike is behind the camera. We're early retirees, debt and mortgage free, and we live a thrifty and frugal life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Wednesday we open our home and invite you into the living room for a midweek money chat. Let's take a look at what we're going to talk about this week. Today, we're going to share with you some things that we have given up in the past, or we are currently giving up, or we would be prepared to give up to win financially. And winning financially could mean different things to different people. It could be you have a savings goal. It could be you're saving up for something massive like a deposit for a house, or something massive like you're saving for your retirement. But winning financially could be just getting through very, very difficult times. And let's face it, these are difficult times. So the ones I'm going to share with you today are in no particular order. Without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing that we were prepared in the past to give up, and we are prepared now to give up to win financially, is comfort. And I'm going to use the example of central heating. We've lived in houses in the past, and all of our houses in the UK had central heating. Press a button, the whole house was heated in one way or another. We had gas central heating. Now, in the past, we made the decisions not only when we were in debt, but we were out of debt, or we were paying off our mortgage, or we had some big financial goal, to not run our central heating in the way that many people did. An example would be we never had our central heating on in the morning. So we would get up in the morning, the house would be chilly, it would be really quite fresh. So it would be a case of jump out of bed, get into your dressing gown, run to the shower, get a quick warm shower, get dressed really quickly, wrap up warm, and get out of the house and on the way to work. We would come home from work in the evening, and we would set our central heating to the absolute minimum. Usually we used to set it to 18 degrees centigrade. I'll get Mike to put on the screen what that is in Fahrenheit. And then we would only leave it on for an hour at the most, literally to take the chill off the house. And then we would wrap ourselves up. We were young, we were fit, we could endure it. We were prepared to give that up. When we moved into this house here, we made the decision to have no central heating in this house. There is no central heating in this house. We have to have the discomfort of lighting wood-burning stoves, of bringing in wood. We are prepared to do that to win financially. So those are examples. What were we prepared to give up, and what are we prepared to give up to win financially? We're prepared to give up comfort. The next thing that we've given up, and we're quite prepared to continue to give up to win financially, is to give up time. Now, in the past, when we've had decent salaries and we would have been able to afford to pay for services, to pay people to clean our car, to pay people to cut our grass, to pay people to clean our windows, and so on and so forth, we haven't. We've spent our time doing those things to save money. We could have had convenient food, for example, but we have been prepared to batch cook. So we've had our own convenience food in the freezer that we can just pull out and reheat after coming home from work. We've lift shared in the past, which causes you inconvenience of your own time. You might have to set off slightly earlier to pick somebody up on the way. It might take 15 minutes longer to get to work, but they in turn are paying for half of the fuel to get there. So it is worth the time. It saves a lot of money. So those are examples. And now we have got more time. We're prepared to spend even more time doing things that would save us money. chopping our own wood, bringing wood in for our house is just one example. So we've been prepared in the past and we are prepared now to give up our own time to win financially. Now, throughout the time that we've been together, when we have made that decision literally to tightly funnel finances, our budget and our money towards a savings goal or something that we need to do, we have had to limit our choices, and we've been prepared to limit those choices and to give up some things. And an example that we're going to share with you is from day dot of the 26 years we've been together. We have always shopped in discount supermarkets, and in the very early days, I remember when Lidl first came to the UK, they didn't even have shelves. Everything was on a pallet. They didn't have barcodes on them. The staff had to memorise them. So there was very, very limited choice, and I know many people didn't like them. They've really improved. They are very much like regular supermarkets now, but they still have a limited choice. And we are prepared to shop in the shops, the budget supermarkets with limited choice. We are prepared to do that to continue to win financially, to spend less on our groceries. We're prepared to limit our choices of where we go and how much we spend. We are okay with that. That's just another example. We've been prepared to limit our choices. Now, the next thing that we were prepared to give up to win financially, and we are prepared to give up to win financially, is convenience. And the example I'm going to share with you is about transport. Now, the most convenient method of transport is to own your own car. You can come and go at your leisure and whenever you like. Now, we've not done that in the past. In the past, when we had one car, one of us would use public transport. And that's not as easy as it would sound. That would mean a 20-minute to a half-hour walk to the station and then get the train, which may or may not turn up, which may or may not be on time. So you'd always have to prepare to get a much earlier train just in case of delays. And then at the other end, you'd have to walk from there. And that means you'd get to the station wet, cold, tired, and at the other end, you'd get into work wet, cold, and tired. And then you'd start your day's work. And that isn't convenient. Now, even now, we only have one car. We could take a chunk of money from savings and buy another car. We could put less money into savings every single month and insure 2 cars. We could have the choices, as I discussed earlier, to go in separate places in separate times, but we choose not to. It is not convenient, I can promise you, to only have one car, but we make it work. It was not convenient in the past when we used to lift share. And an example would be, I used to have a 1-hour commute to work and back again. And anyone who does that, that's a chunk of money for fuel. So I used to lift share. I'd put a notice up at work saying, I'm travelling, I will lift share. And it meant I would have to do a 15-minute deviation, making my journey even longer. But those people who I picked up along the way, they paid for my transport. So it actually cost me nothing to get to work when I was lift sharing. It helped them out. They had no other way of getting there. They didn't live near public transport. I helped them out, and it definitely helped me out. So convenience, oh my goodness, it has been inconvenient in the past and it's inconvenient now. But oh my goodness, it really does save us money. next thing that we're quite happy to give up, we gave it up in the past and we're quite happy to give it up now, and that is quantity. Now, quantity is also how much, how often. So, for example, we don't use the car as much. We don't want to spend too much money on fuel. It's very expensive, so we use the car less. We do eat meat, we do eat fish. We don't eat very much of it. We do eat out. We eat out on our wedding anniversary. We choose not to do it so often. We choose not to go to places. Do we have nice things? Yes, of course we do have nice things, but we don't have very much of it. So there's another very quick example. What are we prepared to give up? We are prepared to give up quantity to win financially. The next thing that we have been quite prepared to give up over the years, and we are prepared to continue to give up, is quality. Or may I add and clarify with this, it is the perception of quality, isn't it? And people often think of quality as a product or a service or a brand. A service, for example, where you have this perception of quality, might be, for example, an airline. But the quality airline and the budget airline do the same thing. They transport you from A to B. Another perception of quality might be a brand or a generic. A supermarket generic paracetamol pill will cure your headache in exactly the same way as a brand 5-6 times the price. A marmalade, take them out the jars and just give somebody spoons of marmalade. More often than not, they cannot tell the difference between the quality, expensive marmalade and the supermarket own brand marmalade that may be 1/3 of the price. So, when it comes to perceptions of quality, we are quite prepared to give those up. We've given them up for years now. We don't miss them at all. We're quite prepared to give those up. My next point, and it might be unusual, and I know for many people it is absolutely the step too far, but something that we have been very much in the past prepared to give up, and we are currently prepared to give up, and that is privacy. And let me explain that to you. Something that Mike and I have in common is in our very early days, and when we were young, we lived in shared accommodation. I've lived in a bedsit that I shared with another girl. I've lived in lodgings, which I obviously was in a family home and rented a room there. And Mike has lived in shared accommodation, which has been houses of multiple occupation with many other people. And in all those circumstances, when you are in that communal living situation, you have to queue for the toilet, you can't all use the cooker at the same time, you have to fight for your space in the fridge, you can't use the washing machine when you want to use it, and so on and so forth. And at one period in our lifetime, we made the big mistake of paying for privacy, and we mortgaged ourselves to the hilt. We didn't stay there long, and we got out of that circumstance. But we, again, when we moved and we downsized, we didn't have privacy. And I'm going to give you an example. If I went out of my front door, I could literally touch my neighbour's front door. When we were in our house, which was Americans I think call it a row house. British people call it a terraced house. You can hear the neighbours going up and down the stairs. If my neighbours were having a row, running around, shouting, slamming doors, I could hear every single word. I had a neighbour, I knew what he was watching on TV because I could hear it. And those are examples of where we were not prepared to have a massive mortgage, and we were prepared to give up privacy. And even now, we are prepared to have an affordable house. We've given up privacy. Everybody walking by on the road here can see into our garden. They can see when we come, they can see when we go. We don't have privacy, and we are okay with that. I know many people, like I said, it would be the step too far, but throughout our entire lives, we have been prepared to give up privacy, to live within our means and win financially. We hope that you liked that or you found that interesting, and if you did, we'd ask that you hit that like button. We love hearing from you. Are there any things that you have given up in the past, or maybe that you are prepared to give up now, or that you would theoretically be happy to give up if it achieved your financial goals? Just leaves me to say, on behalf of Mike and I, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye for now.